Why settle for less when you can see more with Flow? With Flow's digital video service, you get more channels, more customizable video packages, more flexibility with your personal video recorder. Pause, rewind, and record your favorite shows. In other words, we give you more so you can really enjoy the bigger picture.
Flow, watch, talk, click.
This is CC6 Newsnight Weekend Review for July 8th to 11th, 2013. It was the week in which a former Prime Minister dismissed rumors that he was stepping down as political leader of his party. Government revealed that CCC has received thousands of job applications for road works to start soon. And government announced that funds have been set aside for poultry farmers to get back into a regional organization. In sports, Grenada going to take back secondary school Windward Islands game title. Stay with us to bring you details when we return.
Get the fastest broadband and the most affordable phone service when you sign up for Flow Voice and Flow Broadband today. Plus, for a limited time, get 50% off installation fees, 1 month free broadband service, and a free cordless phone while stocks last. Hurry! This is a limited time offer, so make sure and sign up for Flow Voice and broadband service today. Promotion runs until July 24th. Conditions apply. Flow, watch, talk, click.
I am Kirani James, and Quark Bank is my bank.
If prosperity really matters to you, come home to Grenada Cooperative Bank. Since 1932, we have shared the same values: financial diligence, investing with prudence, transparent compliance, consistent performance.
Welcome home, Grenada.
No matter the economic climb, we always stand the test of time.
Welcome home, Grenada, the bank that goes the extra mile. Welcome home, Grenada, the bank that serves with a smile.
Welcome to a bank you can truly call your own. Grenada Cooperative Bank.
We care because you matter.
Welcome home.
It's a popular belief that all windows and doors are the same. But at St. Lou Metal, we know the difference. With true Grenadian craftsmanship and precision that gives the best quality and low guarantee prices, you have a wide variety of windows and doors to choose from. Skylight windows, do-half kitchen doors, aluminum doors with window inside and screen. We are the doors and windows people. St. Lou Metal, building number 19, Frequente Industrial Park. Call 439-6538.
Thanks for joining us. I am Samantha Williams-Worm. Former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas says until the time is right, he will remain political leader of the National Democratic Congress, as rumors circulated that he had stepped down from the post almost 5 months after his party lost the last general elections.
The leadership of the National Democratic Congress was once again the topic of conversation on Thursday, as talks circulated that Tillman Thomas has stepped down as political leader. But in a telephone interview with CC6 Newsnight around midday, Mr. Thomas says the rumor mill began churning after he made an appearance on a radio program on Thursday morning, and for now, he is still leader of the party.
I spoke with Kem this morning on his program, and I said to him I wouldn't contest another election, looking at national elections. The word resignation was not even mentioned. We didn't discuss the leadership in any detail at all at that interview. Well, I said so, but that's not cast in concrete. I said I wouldn't contest another, I was talking about looking at national elections. I did say that, but that's not cast in concrete. Things change, situation changes, circumstances, one never know. No, I said the right time. That's what happened at the right time, and in the interest of the party and all those concerns.
What are some of the things you may be looking for in a next candidate for St. Patrick as well as a political leader for the NDC in case you do step down?
Well, no, anyone who is committed and dedicated to the principles and policies of the National Democratic Congress is welcome to come in and make their contribution.
Mr. Thomas says until a firm decision is made about his future as the candidate and political leader, he will continue to observe the new administration and their running of the country.
Well, as you would see, their style of governance is totally different to that of the National Democratic Congress. I find they show too much of a disregard for institutions and try to blame everything back on the past administration. For instance, look at the police force. I mean, the manner the police force is being handled. I think they are showing a disregard for that institution. And other institutions, the amount of victimization, you didn't see victimization at that level during the reign of the National Democratic Congress. And people who felt more relaxed and everything was not politics under NDC. I mean, government was for the people of Grenada, not for people who support NDC. Government was for everybody. But now, they make it appear as if, if you're not NNP, you're not, and those who identify with them, you're not really, being considered.
One of the good things the government has done, he says, was withdrawing the Electronic Crimes Bill in Senate on Wednesday, an act that provides for people to be charged for sending offensive messages electronically.
I think there should be more discussions on this, and as you know that Grenada is the only country in the Caribbean to repeal criminal libel, so we would not want to see criminal libel in any form for in terms of defamation or character assassination. The civil law could deal with this. So I believe there is need for a wider discussion. Different interest groups in the society should be discussing this bill and look at all the aspects of it. We're living in a different society. We need to have regulation, and we need to regulate the electronic media and electronic type of communication. But it should not be done at the expense of freedom of expression.
The NDC was removed from office in February when the new National Party won a landslide victory at the polls. Janelle Andrews, CC6 Newsnight.
Thousands of workers are seeking employment with the company that has been awarded the contract for a government project which was marred with controversy for more than 4 years. But only a small percentage of the applicants will actually be employed when the work begins in earnest.
Since April, after it was announced that CCC, Consolidated Contractors International, would be back in business in Grenada, the company has received approximately 3,000 applications for employment. However, Minister of Works Honourable Gregory Bowen says only a small number of these applicants have been employed due to the delay in reinstallation of 3 crushing plants, which are essential for the commencement of the pending agricultural feeder road project. Minister Bowen, who was addressing government's post-cabinet media conference on Tuesday, gave an update on CCC's operations.
Right now, CCC is actively and very assiduously moving ahead with the restoration of the asphalt plant and the crushing plant at Mount Hartman. You'll be aware that when they left, I don't know if we thought because they were unceremoniously asked to leave that the plant became, everyone's business, and it was vandalized. So now we have to spend an extremely large sum to put it back on stream.
The minister gives an overview of how much the plant renovations will cost and how it will be financed.
It is part of the contractual arrangement. You had many bidders, and they said whomsoever would have won the contract must get the plant. Some of them did not even bid because they did not want to take on the plant. And so at the end of the day, you might say government has to repay the loan. But as it stands now, it is CCC whose responsibility it is to get the plants, both plants, up and running.
He also gives information on what is required before the pending road projects can begin.
The first part of the road will be the base and sub-base, and we need the aggregate. In fact, even within the Ministry of Works, we are awaiting the asphalt plant, because all we can do now, the drums of asphalt, we have ordered them, 166 drums, they are now in the country. So we could do what you call the cold mix. In the rainy season, it does not hold well. But the hot mix, that's the best way to do it, but we must wait on the asphalt plant.
Minister Bowen says that at its full complement, CCC will employ just over 500 people. Wayne Francis Wright, CC6 Newsnight.
Poultry farmers have been selected to get help from the government in efforts to improve the status of the industry and make Grenada once more part of a regional organization that deals with the industry.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars have been allocated for development and capacity building of the poultry industry to facilitate Grenada's re-entry to the Caribbean Poultry Association. This was announced by Minister of Communications, Works, Physical Development, Public Utilities and ICT, Honourable Gregory Bowen, who hosted government's weekly post-cabinet media conference on Tuesday. The total amount of $300,000 is being made available in the form of grants to existing and new poultry farmers by the Grenada Development Bank in conjunction with the Government of Grenada.
The Poultry Association has been granted the following concessions. There were over $300,000 at the Grenada Development Bank quite a while ago, earmarked for the poultry associations, but there wasn't an acceptable proposal. And Cabinet has now agreed that of the total, a grant of $40,000 will be given to the Grenada Association of Poultry Producers to strengthen outreach programs and to strengthen their administrative capacity.
Part of the grant will be allocated for raising the standard and quality within the industry and to consolidate membership within the Caribbean Poultry Association.
A grant of $40,000, again, different $40,000, will be paid directly to the Grenada Bureau of Standards to implement the new CARICOM standards, and we have my colleague minister here who's well versed in this, for poultry products. So like fish, we must use fish in Grenada that meets the same standard as fish that are exported. In similar manner, all our poultry products in Grenada should meet certain standards. Again, particularly if we're thinking about exporting, then the Grenada Bureau of Standards will now be given this assistance to facilitate the Poultry Association.
A revolving fund of $100,000 will be set aside to subsidize feed for farmers, and this will be managed by the GDB. For new poultry farmers, a fund of $150,000 is to be allocated for small business loans.
A further sum of $150,987.12 will be assigned to the small business loan to be set up by the government through the GDB again, earmarked directly for poultry, for the poultry farmers. So while you'll hear about other ventures within the small business loans, the poultry farmers can be assured of this particular amount that must be given to them. Of course, they can access other loans, other components, under other components of the small business loan, but you know that this sum is earmarked for them.
To be eligible for the funds, farmers must prove use of funds to the Ministry of Agriculture, and an annual audit will be conducted. Wayne Francis Wright, CC6 Newsnight.
When we return, government-owned farms to be put into private hands, but under the watchful eyes of a committee.
Only one dishwashing liquid can do the job. Quicks is the expert in taking out the toughest grease easily. You know you can trust it. Quicks cuts grease better, full stop.
Digicel makes you smile. Double the smiles, double the value. Free SMS, free international and local. Free magic number calls. Extra credit when you top up 10 or more. And get rewarded for your top up. Digicel gives you more to keep you smiling. Get free SMS when you top up with $10. Magic number calls when you top up with $15. Free international once you top up with $20. Free local calls to all Digicel number. Extra credit for $30 or more. You get more. 10% bonus credit to do anything you want. Digicel makes you smile. Double the smiles, double the value. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
Breeze removes stains in the first wash. The other detergents, not always. You have to wash it all again and use twice the amount. So, which one costs more? Do the math. Choose Breeze. Unbeatable stain removal.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Business held an orientation for heads of overseas missions and ambassadors on Thursday in St. George's as the new appointees prepare to take up their international duties.
Ambassadors recently appointed by government came one step closer to taking up their duties on Thursday at a pre-posting orientation for prospective diplomats at the National Stadium. Heads of mission, including ambassadors and one high commissioner, were in attendance and will be versed by local agencies, business entities and immigration representatives in protocol and procedures expected as part of their role during the two-day activity. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Business, Elizabeth Henry Greenwich, spoke to CC6 Newsnight.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs thought it important that we should hold an orientation exercise with our new ambassadors and high commissioner prior to their deployment to their various jurisdictions. In so doing, we've organized a two-day activity which will see presentations being done by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Finance, the Accountant General's Division to be exact. We also have presentations from the Grenada Board of Tourism talking about tourism and tourism investment, the Grenada Industrial Development Corporation, the whole idea of doing business in Grenada. We have immigration and consular matters, and then on Friday afternoon will be devoted to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where we will deal with protocol.
The appointments were made a few months ago, and to date, candidates have not taken up their various positions, and the Permanent Secretary gives some insight into why there has been a delay.
We had to contact the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the various jurisdictions where the ambassadors would be deployed to first get what we call a GRIMA. A GRIMA means approval from the receiving state that these ambassadors can serve in their jurisdictions. So getting a GRIMA is a little bit different in various countries. Some countries might do it in a week, in 2 weeks, some might take a month, some might take 2 months. So this has been the case. We've been getting the approvals from the various countries over a period of time.
She added that Cabinet also had to approve the appointments, and letters of credence are still pending from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Mrs. Henry Greenwich reiterated who the new ambassadors are and where they have been assigned.
In the case of Havana, Cuba, the ambassador designate is Ms. Clarice Charles. In the case of the People's Republic of China, the ambassador designate is I.J. Carl Hood. In the case of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, let me get it correct, our ambassador designate is Mr. Hassan Hadid. In the case of the Organization of American States and the United States of America, because our ambassador in that particular mission is ambassador to the United States of America and permanent representative to the Organization of American States. And that person would be Dr. Angus Friday.
Other ambassadors awaiting deployment are Dr. Dennis Antwine, Ambassador to the United Nations, and Jocelyn Whiteman, High Commissioner to London. All appointees have accepted their positions and will take up their new roles between August and September. Wayne Francis Wright, CC6 Newsnight.
3 government-owned farms are to be put into private hands through a tendering process, but a committee has been set up to monitor the farms after they have been turned over to the private entities.
A number of state-owned farms are to be put in private hands for production, but a select committee headed up by Senator Simon Steele will have the responsibility for the efficient running of the farms. A tendering process is to be used to select the private companies that will take control of the farms as government embarks on the initiative to raise funds. Minister of Communications, Works, Physical Development, Public Utilities and ICT, Honourable Gregory Bowen, revealed how the process will work in a post-cabinet briefing on Tuesday.
And so the committee that will look at commercializing, remember commercializing is not privatizing in the sense that you're getting rid of the government assets. You're putting it under private management. So some long-term arrangement where they'll have total control of the farm so that they can be efficiently managed and they would not be a burden on the state, and we could look at exporting, increasing our exports from this.
Minister Bowen gives details of the members of the committee.
The chairman of this committee will be Senator the Honorable Simon Steele, Members are Mr. Fitzroy James, representing the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Ken Francois, representing the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Ronald O'Neill, also from Agriculture. We have a representative from the Grenada Trade Union, and we have a representative from the Ministry of Legal Affairs.
The minister says that no commitment has been made by any private entity as yet, but the farms are to be commercialized.
I cannot say that we have companies so far, but significant interest from private persons, large farmers who have the experience. And of course, this will be looked at. For your proposal to be accepted, you must have knowledge in the field, or your company must have knowledge in the field. We're looking at Granby, Mount Rule, and Diamond Estates areas as, the main ones for privatization. For commercialization. Yes, sir.
The appointed committee will also supervise the tender process. Wayne Francis Wright, CC6 Newsnight.
3 bands were disqualified in Sunday's National Bomb Tune competition after organizers claimed they were in violation of the rules outlined to them prior to the staging of the event.
9 steel bands were slated to participate in the 2013 Spice Mass Bomb Tune competition. However, while the theme states uniquely rooted in our rich ancestral traditions, sweet steel pan music, the sound and rhythm of Spice Mass, 3 of the 9 bands were disqualified. The bands disqualified were Panosia, Calabash Pan Lovers and Grand Roy Pan Angels. CC6 Newsnight, on learning of the disqualification, sought to find out why, and manager of Republic Bank Angel Harps, Brian Sylvester, said the disqualification was as a result of rules that were broken.
Well, one of the rules basically clearly states that no band is allowed to set up after 4 o'clock, and the penalty for that is disqualification. And everybody's quite aware of the rules, because one of the things we try to do is ensure that the show starts on time. Hence the reason why this rule has been implemented. It's a rule that has been there for some time now, so everyone is aware of it.
Arranger for Grand Roy Pan Angels, Denver Men's, says the disqualification of his band is unjust and he was not aware of the time change.
It's a kind of heartbreaking something, because like every year and every competition they want to make rules to change to suit them, because what I know is that we're supposed to be here and set up by 5 o'clock, so we set at 5:30. Right? They had a meeting Thursday, last Thursday, but they asked me, same Steel Band Association asked me to play in Carnival City, so I could not have attended the meeting. So if the rules had changed or if they had other decision made, they should have allowed us, send us an email or call us or something and let us know. But on a whole, we were not late. Right? Our truck was here and the bus with our players, and we had one transport that broke down. I had a puncher with some instruments, so we had us to take care of it. So we weren't late. But the decision made by the Steel Band Association, whom I don't know which I'm a part, and I was not there when the decision made, and they tell me I've been disqualified.
Also speaking with CC6 Newsnight about her band's disqualification was Nika Bain, band leader of Calabash Pan Lovers.
Well, it's quite a disappointing act, because most of the children in my band is basically smaller, under 10. As you can see, we have like 8-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, because my son is 10 and he plays also. We've been working hard with them. It's been a dramatic experience, and we really was hoping to come in and showcase the youngest children, because as I said, it's mostly children like in the teens and under 10. Now well, they're a bit heartbroken, but what we're going to do, we're still going to play the bomb tune selection. We're not going to play anything else, because they are a bit distorted by this. We are still going to play just the bomb tune selection, and well, we wish all the other bands luck.
The decision to disqualify the bands, Mr. Men says, will only hurt the art form.
Well, the people who make the decision to disqualify Grand Roy Pan Angels, in my opinion, they more or less killing pan. Right? Because to see you practice all, you come out that distance. Because he had band come 2 hours last year, and Grand Roy Pan Angels is the first band that vote and allow the children to play. They was late, and we say allow them to play. Now this year, the same set of people fighting us and say we're late. So I feel these people who making this decision more or less killing pan.
The 6 bands who competed in the competition was Digicel Florida All Stars, Rainbow City All Stars, Koyaba New Dimensions, Lime Comancheros, Republic Bank Angel Harps, and Suzuki Pan Wizards, assisted by Food Fair. Sherry Ann Noel, CC6 Newsnight.
Coming up in Sports on 6, tennis players off to compete in Jamaica.
Cool me down. Nothing can hard in my country. So I open a bakery. Hey, yes. Hey, in order that I should marry. When did you jump, soca? Friendliest people you'll ever meet. Wise man with black stone beside it.
Live on Community Channel 6 every Saturday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's Sound System Saturday.
Grenada, you are being watched by the hardest hitting commentary team ever assembled, and they tell you as they see it every Monday at 8 p.m. on Community Channel 6. Watchdog.
Biting commentary.
A biting commentary. Repeat broadcast Saturdays at 8 p.m.
Biting commentary.
Welcome back now for what's happening in sports. The Spice Island has been taking all necessary precautions to ensure that they retain the 2013 Win Lotto CBN Windward Island Secondary School Games title over their competitors St. Lucia, Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Work has long since begun to ensure that the 70-member team delivers a high standard and outstanding performance in the 5-discipline event. And Sports on 6 caught up with some of the teams during a training session at the Roy St. John playing field on Wednesday. One such discipline is in the area of netball, and head coach is Connie Belfon.
I think that our team is progressing very well, I must say. Between from last week to this week, we have seen a great turnout. The girls are very fit. I've seen that the progress has been great. Most of them, physically, we are there with the team. We more physically fit from last year, and I believe that last year we came second, but I believe that this year we could pull it off. We could pull off the championship because of the way the girls are very fitter this year. They look very good. 5 of them are not here. They're with the under-23 team in Antigua right now as I'm speaking, but I think when they come back and we gel in properly, we will have a good show.
She says this time around they are not ruling out any of their competitors at the games.
From the previous years, although St. Vincent came last in the tournament last year, but I think that they will be our greatest rivalry this year. Over the past year, St. Vincent had a very good team, and I think most of them, because if you compare it with the under-23, most of them usually comes from the under-23 tournament and plays in that tournament, and we have seen that they would have won the under-23 tournament this year, so I think that they will come out there, and then the tournament is being played in St. Vincent, and so I think that they will give a good show.
The Grenadian netballers finished second in the 2012 Windward Island Secondary School Tournament. However, they are confident that this year they can walk away with the title.
2 Grenadian male youth tennis players in the 14 and under age category have been registered and are due to participate in 3 tennis tournaments in Kingston, Jamaica, July 13th to the 27th.
The players, Oronfo Ikolo and Michael Alexander, will compete first in the 2013 Blue Mountain Tennis Championship, followed by the 2013 Jamaica Cotec 14 and under tournament. The Blue Mountain Tennis Championship is scheduled to commence on Saturday of this week and concludes on July 19th. The Jamaica Cotec event is due to begin July 20th and conclude on the 27th. Both Oronfo and Mikel, who are coached by senior tennis coach Richie Hughes, continue to stand out among the Spice Isles and the region's more talented rising tennis stars. The 2 players, some 13 weeks ago, did their country proud when they represented them at the Trinidad and Barbados Cotec events, placing among the top 3 positions. They are fully supported by officials of the Grenada Tennis Association, the Grenada Olympic Committee, and their parents for the trip to Jamaica, and will be accompanied by the manager, coach Richie Hughes, when they leave the island on Wednesday.
That's all we have for you in Sports on 6. We recap the headlines next. Recapping the headlines, it was the week in which a former Prime Minister dismissed rumors that he was stepping down as political leader of his party. Government revealed that CCC has received thousands of applications for road projects to start soon, and government announced that funds have been set aside for poultry farmers to get back into a regional organization. In sports, Grenada going to take back secondary schools Windward Islands game title. That brings us to the end of CC6 Newsnight Week in Review for July 8th to 11th, 2013. Top stories from CC6 Newsnight can also be seen on our Facebook page, Flow Community Channel 6. On behalf of the news team, I'm Samantha Williams-Worm, thanking you for joining us.